the parable of the talents and how it relates to pastoral fitness. Today I have a question for you, a story for you, and then an application at the end for you. Here's my question. How do you steward your finances? You are a pastor. You're probably decent with money. Many of you have taken the Dave Ramsey stuff. A lot of you have even hosted the Dave Ramsey workshops at your church or your school or something like that. And I would say, obviously, there's going to be some outliers, some pastors who definitely struggle with finances, but the majority of pastors, I think, are wise stewards, and I think you have to be in order to be qualified, to pastor, because it's not our resources, it's God's, and we're trying to use those things wisely and well and as unto Him. And so because of that, I think most pastors would answer that question. How do you use your finances? They would say, I think wisely, I think well. And that relates to the story of the talents. If you would use your finances well, why would we not steward our health well? In the story of the talents, you know the parable. There is a master, and he went out of town, and he gave one of his servants 1 talent, one of his servants 5 talents, and one of his servants 10 talents. And he went out for a long journey, and he didn't say when he's going to come back, but just to be ready when he does. And you know what happened. The one with the 1, he went and he buried his in the dirt. The one with the 5, he went and invested it, he made 10. The one with the 10, he invested it and made 20. The master comes back, and he looks at all of them, and of course the 5 and the 10 he commends, and he gives them the respective amount of cities to rule over. And the one with the 1, he's angry at him, and he's wroth. Why didn't you at least put it into the bank and get some interest off it? Why didn't you invest my money? It's not yours, it's mine. Why'd you bury it in hopes that nobody would see it and come back? So finances, we're going to steward things well because we believe in this story. We look at that parable and we're like, look, it doesn't matter how much God gave you, and you'll preach this in your pulpit. It doesn't matter how much God gave you. You need to use what you have as unto Him. You need to be a wise steward. You need to give to Him because it's really just His, and He's the one who gives the increase, yada, yada, yada. You believe it. Why don't we believe this in our fitness? Some of you have peak genetics. You can look at a weight and you just get jacked. You can sneeze and get jacked. Some of you are like me, and you're just a normal person. It takes some work. You're not going to be a muscle monster just by looking at weights. You're not going to get super, super big because genetically you're just not predisposed to that. You're not going to get super, super lean without trying. You're not one of those guys who can eat whatever he wants and be 2 pounds. And then there's some of you who you got 1 talent genetically. It takes a lot of work for you to cut fat. It takes a lot of work for you to build muscle. You have different muscle type ratios than the average bear. And so it doesn't matter how much you lift, you're never going to be massive unless you blast steroids. Some of you, it takes forever just to see the first pound come off. And it's frustrating because no matter what you do, it feels like nothing's going to work. Maybe you have health concerns or issues, whatever. You got 1 talent. But that's a talent that God gave you. And to say, yes, we believe in the principle of the talents about our finances, but to ignore it about our health, about our fitness, how dare we? No one is called to a higher standard, a higher example than pastors. So why would we not set the example? We will in our finances. We'll tell everybody you need to honor God. You need to steward. And I'm telling you, we need to honor God. We need to steward. Our fitness is part of stewardship. And it's amazing to me how many pastors over the last probably 50 years. I think before that, it was just a more active lifestyle. So the average bear, unless he was like Winston Churchill and just slept all day, he was able to keep the weight off. He probably wouldn't die early of obesity or anything. That's not true today. A lot of issues are caused by being overweight today, and a lot of pastors are suffering from these things. And I'll tell you why. Because they took their talent, they buried it in the sand, and they said, I hope nobody finds this until the master comes back. And when he comes back, what do you think he's going to say? Well done. Let me give you more. I don't think so. I think he's going to be disappointed. And I think there's going to be some accountability, a reckoning that should have happened here on earth. So I'm saying all this to say, you need to take ownership of your stewardship. I guess a better way of saying that is you need to steward your body. And a pastor who doesn't steward his body is a contradiction. Because we are called to hear, but we're acting like hear. We're called to double what we have. Maybe not double, but to invest what we have. To use it the most wise way that we can. And when we stand before the Master someday and he returns and he says, hey, how did you do with what I gave you? I hope every one of you watching this video is going to say, you know what? I didn't always do what's perfect, but I sure did what I knew to do, and I did it with all of my might as unto the Lord. That's all I'm asking. That's the purpose of this video. If you're a pastor and you've not started that, I want to invite you to the Fit Pastor Blueprint. It is a community of over 500 other pastors and only pastors. And in that group, we have lots of free resources to help you get started in your fitness journey. There's accountability, there's encouragement, and there's tons of wins and success stories from other men who have taken ownership of their stewardship, who stewarded their bodies because they see the call of God. They see the calling, this high bar that God sets for us, this example they have to set, and they've taken ownership of it. I want you to do the same thing. If you're already in it, congrats. Thank you for making this the best pastoral fitness community in the world. And I'm praying for all of you. Hope all of you succeed and honor the Lord today and through your life and through your fitness. See you later.